This is open for the government proposals for tenders for tendering training package development. It's open to discussion. Does the ISC have industry support to tender? Now, I want to open it up to discussion, please.
The tender of the training packages, particularly our 4 suites of packages, that will go to a contestable process. There is a process for developing training packages which we've been doing since '92, I think. But the idea from McFarlane's speech is we'll be able to tender for the training packages. It's quite specific. ISCs will be able to tender for the training packages. We're not eliminated. However, to be able to do that in the process, we would have to get industry support for us to go to tender. So we really need to get our industry players on board formally in the tender process, and it would include the regulators, it would include our industry sectors, ENA, MEA, and the other industry organisation, NECA. So those, and the ETU obviously. So at the end of the day, we're really looking for industry support for that tender process. So really, that's the question. Does the ISC have industry support? If we haven't, there's no point us tendering, because that will be part of the process. There'll be a discussion paper come out shortly on that.
So all the energy people require more, if you're going to do it for the aircon refrigeration sector, then... We're in.
That's obviously including the electro-technology sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that really will be looking for your organisation to support that idea. Obviously, you have input into the units anyway, and the qualifications. So, if you read his speech, it really is something. It's just trying to. What he's saying is, we don't satisfy industry needs with the units we've got now. That might be true of other industries, but for us, we've got to satisfy regulators. The Department of Environment, all that, our training packages are built on that. So to say that training packages don't support the industry is really just a nonsense in our industry. In other industries, can't make comment.
I think a lot of that falls to people that don't know. And I recently forwarded you a copy of a survey of one of our surveys that an electrical contractor in the Riverina had completed for us. I don't know if you had a chance to have a look at it, but you know, he was on a total different tangent and off with the fairies in some parts of it, and it was those disturbing comments there that were saying, you know, it doesn't meet what industry wants, and TAFE's not being funded in that, and how we get out to some of those employers and advise them, you know, and I did my best, as you saw, and told him that, you know, we meet what ERAC asks and we meet the essential elements that they ask us to put into the packages, and that, yes, we do that. But I think it's getting out there to some of those voices that are out there. And I think EOS, when I talk to my colleagues in New South Wales of what happens in their ISCs, I think I'm spoilt in the support that I get from EOS, the contribution that I get back from EOS, and I know that our industry is as well in those areas, Bob. And when you talk to some of the others and some of the horror stories that I hear from them, you know, employer associations that have never spoken to their ISC, and if they do ring them, they don't even return their calls. I mean, that would never happen in our ISC, I know that, and I think that's part of our problem, that EOS is being tarred with the brush that some others, you know, some of them, you know, putting money into their directors and things like that. I mean, you know, we had a board meeting of our ITAB yesterday, and they all laughed about getting their money increased for that they've got, you know, nothing times 100% still nothing. So they're all very happy with that. It actually costs money, and I know that's the same with EOS, that it costs you money to be a director and contribute. So, yeah.
And the problem we've got is small business has obviously spoken to the minister, and training standards particularly are getting the blame for the lack of contextualisation by the RTO for that particular region, not the training standards. Like the training standards, it puts in a framework for a national consistent approach. However, when it comes to regional and needs in those regions, it's up to the RTO to contextualise those needs in the training package. So the regulators, for example, know that an electrician trained in WA, the core is the same as what it is in ACT or Queensland or Northern Territory or Tassie or wherever, or in New Zealand now. So the core, we've managed to get that core right across the Tasman as well as here. So the contextualisation is really up to the RTO, not to the standard. And somehow that's fallen on deaf ears. But we're going to be put in the same boat as every other ISC. And some ISCs haven't been able to convince their constituents that their training packages are the right ones. So what I'm saying is, for us to be a viable tenderer, we're going to have to get the industry support. And we need that formally. We don't need that, oh yeah, we'll put our hand up and say, walk away. We will be asking for formal support.
I think one of the things to remember when you get to the development of training packages, and my area is unique in that we deal with every licensable activity in the territory within the construction industry. So I deal with more than one ISC. What is different between Energy Skills and the other ISCs is that the training package is designed to be the licence outcome. In every other occupation I deal with, there is a training package that we can push, squeeze, chunk into being a licensable outcome, but it's not a fit. There are no system, nobody else designs packages to be the licence. And when you're the technical regulator, that is quite an important fact. So in building, there are 8 Cert 4s in building, of which 2, if we mandate electives, can be made to get close to the kind of outcome that we like, and that's the best we get. So even if the argument exists in others, and I'm not prepared to concede that, what is different here is this training package, for all the difficulties that everybody wants to have with it, what it does is it creates an electrician. It creates a licensed person at the end of it. If everybody does the bits they're supposed to and they go through all the elements and they get past capstone, then I've got confidence that the training package has delivered all the things for me, and that is unique. Within the construction industry, this is the only training package that does that. Everything else, we've got to do something extra to make it work. And the extra to make it work is really difficult. Really difficult.
One of the things that is also unique about the way that our industry works is that there isn't a local flavour to a qualification. There's no such thing as a Townsville electrician, is there, Jody? No. There's no such thing as a, Bathurst refrigeration person. So it's that, and when you read one of the directions that's being said is this sort of local consultation, meeting local industry needs. One of the things that our industries need to say very, very loudly is there is no local need. There is a national qualification and there are national standards. And we want a person who's able to be safe. No one's, I know that Neil mentioned mobility earlier on today. That's a key factor for our economy, a really key factor for our economy, because we know that labour moves very rapidly in Australia and we have to have an agile workforce. And we're not going to get that if we get a fragmented system. Thanks.
I think, again, just on from that, the fragmentation we've seen in our specific part of the sector, anything we can do to defragment or consolidate the situation has got to be applauded. Anything that's going to further fragment things, as you were saying, it's not in the benefit of the industry, it's not in the benefit of the people coming into the industry. all the industry bodies, all the regulators. It's like we need to all get back in the tent for the good of the industry. So yeah.